United States, there are approximately 1.4 million adults who identify themselves as transgenders. However, only 16% of Americans say that they know someone or work with someone who is transgender. The remaining 84% say they only know about transgenders through media. In this map of the United States, it shows the number of adult transgenders in each state. The darker the color means the higher percentage of transgenders in that area. Although most Americans know of transgenders, we don't really understand what it's like because we were born into our gender roles, whereas they have to conform from their existing biological gender roles to fit into the sex and gender roles they feel most comfortable with. We don't have to face the discrimination, the lack of equality, and the fear of being harmed or misunderstood just for wanting to feel more comfortable in your body. However, the Obama administration proposed that Title I-X, which states that no school that receives federal funding, category that includes public grade schools and high schools, as well as nearly all colleges, public or private, may discriminate on the basis of sex. Despite the Obama administration's proposals, many states dismiss these federal laws and forbid transsexuals of feeling comfortable by forcing them to follow the norms of their biological sex. The new administration and Congress should work on expanding and enforcing transgender rights so that transsexuals feel equally represented and protected in their everyday lives by knowing the government is on their side. The new administration needs to work on making it easier for transgenders to put their preferable gender on driver's license, IDs, birth certificates, and passports. Currently, the U.S. states are allowed to choose their own policies of changing a birth certificate. This creates an inconsistency amongst states and amongst the transgender community, as some are going to be able to change their sex without a problem, while others are going to face more issues. Some states will give you a new birth certificate with the preferred sex, whereas other states change the birth certificate, but they'll make it apparent that the sex has been changed. However, some states refuse to change the birth certificate in general and refuse to acknowledge the importance of having their official documents represent their preferred sex. The failure of the government to acknowledge gender identities of all people represent a rejection of the fundamental rights of self-determination, dignity, and freedom. When an agency is unwilling to issue an identification card that matches that person's identity, they are judging the legitimacy of that identity and of an individual's right of citizenship. This is important that their ID cards have their preferred gender so that transgenders feel safe and comfortable when presenting their IDs and not have to worry about being discriminated. Transgenders deserve the right to live without being forced to suppress or deny who they are to protect themselves from harm. The topic the new administration needs to work on is health care for transgenders. Many transgenders fear the doctor's office just as much as the doctors fear them. Due to this fear, most transgenders don't go to the doctor's office. This can cause a danger in their lifetime, health-wise, and even with their career. Many female and male transsexuals avoid their yearly gynecology exams because they don't want to remind themselves that they have female reproductive organs, also because they are afraid of being judged by insensitive physicians. However, there are transsexuals who want to go to the doctors for help, but they end up being turned down due to fearful doctors. Robert Eads, a female to male transsexual from rural Georgia, who after being diagnosed with ovarian cancer was turned away by more than 24 physicians who feared that taking him on as a patient might harm their practices. He ended up dying in 1999 of cancer.